All right. Colossians chapter 1. Oh, we're going to have fun. Oh, we're going to have fun. So much fun today. So much fun. We're going to have a blast. Waiting for some people. Facebook is always slow. Don't fret. Thor and I are here. Hey, bub. There you go. All right. Hi, Erica. Hi, Linda Kimmel from Baton Rouge. Linda, did you tell Pastor Anderson I said hello? Please tell Pastor Anderson I said hello. Colonel's here. Jennifer. Cheryl, not to be confused with Carol. Rob's in the house. Terry Lynn. Priscilla in the house. Carol. Not the Carol from the other place. Christopher. Good to see you. Christopher, you're aware that your name means Christ bearer, right? So like when you show up carrying Christ. What a great name. What a great name. Hi, Pat. Hi, Donna. Yeah, Pastor Anderson's my father in the faith. I learned most of my Greek, Latin from Pastor Anderson. Also, I learned the gospel from him. That's the best thing of all. And I have the peculiar gift. Jeff Schwartz once said, after talking to me, after Wilkin talked to me on issues, etc., that I have the peculiar gift of being able to translate Nagel into English. That is the same gift is that I can translate Anderson into English. So, because Linda, your pastor is so, he's so intelligent that doesn't even mess up my hair. What an unbelievable man. What an unbelievable man. And faithful as the day is long. Hey, buddy. Okay. Good talk, bud. Good talk. Well, how about this one? We'll prime the pump. That's one of them you like. There are 3 treats at your feet, bud. Can you access they're going to handle that, Terry Lynn. What does James mean? James means guy who's annoying to pastors named Borghardt. I'm just guessing. It's a crazy thing. Hi, Betty. Hello from Florida. Or hello to Florida. Hello from Louisiana. All right, let's rock and roll here now. We got to get going. We're eastbound and down, loaded up and truck it. I believe I should have sang that. Eastbound and down, loaded up and truck it. We're going to do what they say can't be done. We got a long way to go and a short time to get there. All right. St. Chrysostom on verse 13. The whole is from him. The giving both of these things and of those. For no achievement finds its source in us. Then, not then, as to deliver man from darkness, only did he show his love toward him. It is a great thing indeed to have been delivered from darkness, but to have been brought into the kingdom is far greater. All right. You know, Rob, I don't know, but Chrysostom, that's a 6th century guy, and it's very, very clearly it's all Jesus, all Jesus. Okay. Augustine. From the power of evil angels, nothing delivers man but the grace of God, of which the author, the apostle, speaks, who has delivered us from the power of darkness and translated us into the kingdom of his Son, the Son of his love. Israel's own story illustrates this figure. When they were delivered from the power of the Egyptians and translated into the kingdom of the promise, the land of promise flowing with milk and honey, which signifies the sweetness of grace. You know, that's the great deal about what we believe as Lutherans, that this isn't a faith that began, hey, buddy. Really? Nothing. Okay, so all of the stuff that came before was pulling and tugging to bring us to this thing, which is Jesus saving us. So, from the day we heard, we have not ceased to pray for you, asking you may be filled with the knowledge of his will in all spiritual wisdom and understanding, so as to walk in a manner worthy of the Lord. That's confessing your sins and receiving forgiveness, bearing fruit in every good work and increasing in the knowledge of the knowledge of God. So as to being strengthened with all power, according to his glorious might, from all endurance and patience with joy, giving thanks to God the Father who has qualified you to share in the inheritance of the sons of light. He has delivered us from the domain of darkness and transferred us, and everything is pulling toward the end, into the kingdom of his Son, in whom we have redemption, the buying back, the forgiveness of sins. I cannot wait. Let me just tell you a secret. Let me just tell you a secret. And I took Monday off. I am trying to convince Pastor Finker to take Mondays so that you will have uninterrupted Bible study, because Finker is the smartest dude in the room, usually. We love that guy, Finker. His beard, I think he's got like a whole village of village living in his beard. But other than that, what a great pastor. And we're super excited that he is the dean of higher things. And I'm trying to talk him into it. You know what? I promise that I'll sit in the cheap seats with Lestico and help him with his Bible study. But I want him to give you, I want you to have that gift on Mondays from Pastor Finker. All right, let's get going now. He hasn't given me a yes yet, but I'm pleading with him. He who is the icon of God, the invisible. Oh, Jesus, the one whom we have forgiveness of sins. He's the one who brought us out of the dominion of darkness into the kingdom of his Son. He's the one who gave us redemption. And this guy is I want you to look at this word. All right, I want you to pronounce it. Icon. Icon. He is the icon, the picture. All right. Cheryl, I'm going to take just, let me finish the thought and I'll get to Cheryl's, so he is the icon of the invisible God. I want you to think about this picture. What a picture. The icon of the invisible God. Over there, I have a picture of an icon of Jesus. I don't have one near me. I should have prepared for this. But the old pictures of Jesus are called icons. ICONS. Sandra's gonna give us some give us a couple of pictures of icons. Hi, Diana. Warrensville, Illinois. I loved my time in Illinois. I miss Illinois in in the winter. And we've got Jordan from Greece. And that's not Greece is the word that you've heard. So think about this for a second. No one's ever seen God. Oh, but wait. You've seen a picture of God, an icon of God, an image of God. And do you know what that looks like? Come over here, buddy, and tell me what that looks like. You know what that looks like? Where are you, bud? Come here. Come on. You're going to pick me up is what he's doing. Come here, bud. Come on. So you know what that looks like? You want to know what God looks like? You want to know what the invisible God looks like? All you got to do is look at dead Jesus hanging on a cross. That's all you got to do. Sandra, I know you're the media exec, but there's something called Teeny URL. I don't know. It's like 80 years old. But so the God that no one has seen, you've seen a picture of him on the cross. Thinker, preparing for Monday. He's in the zone right now. All right. What's he say? You know what God looks like? Looks like Jesus on the cross. And do you know how you know that? The centurion beats his chest and says, that guy's the Son of God. When you think, God, he's invisible, he's almighty, all that jazz. Hey, buddy, you want to get away from that? Don't, not the squeaky toy. The icon of the invisible God. That is so unbelievable. And a hymn is coming. I think it's a hymn, and just this is so wonderful that we have an early Christian hymn. Hi, buddy, what you up to? That we have an early Christian hymn. It's so wonderful that we have this early Christian hymn. It's beautiful. Hey, bud. How's it going? It's beautiful. So if you want to look at Jesus, look at God, all you need do is look at Jesus hanging there on the cross. Prototokos, firstborn, passes teseos, of all creation. He's the firstborn of all creation. You're born like he's born. Okay, Maggie, great question. You see the spacing on this? I'm going to sort of highlight it for you. It looks a little odd. You see how that spacing is you see how that spacing is, how it's sort of odd. A lot of scholars believe this is either a poem in the early a Christian poem, or it's a Christian hymn. And so Paul, when he's articulating the faith to the Colossians, he either gets very poetic or he gives us one of the early church hymns. And this is it. He who is the icon of the invisible God, the firstborn of all creation. You're going to be born like him. You're going to be raised from the dead like him. Could be a creed too. That's why he's the dean, ladies and gentlemen, of theology. Isn't that a very good hymn? As for Cheryl, who said earlier, do you have a dog finger? Not everybody loves the dog. This is a shocker. This will be a shocker to you. Although he is oh, buddy, you licking my hand. What a good boy you are. Although he is oops, she missed it. He is the mascot of higher things. I had a YouTube comment the other day. This content would be great if you didn't have that dog. I was like, why do you hate on the dog? All right. Anyway. For by him, in him, katidzo, tapanta, all things were created. In the heavens and the earth, on the earth, the visible and the invisible, whether thrones or dominions or archi, rulers or authorities. All things were created through him, and all things were created to him. And he is pro panton, he is all before all things, and ta panta in auto sun es taken, and all things are held together. Hey buddy, what's going on? What's going on, buddy? You don't like this? Okay. Which treat? Which one has a treat? Do you know which one has a treat? Do you know which one has a treat? We'll pick it. This one? Good boy. Now you can skedaddle, you varmint. What a great creed. What a great creed. What a great the Facebook person who's got Thor's title today is joking around, Rob. You know. Okay. So, for by him all things were created in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions or rulers or authorities, all things were created through him and for him. For him. We never think about that, do we? Do you know why we don't think about that? We don't think about that because God's like, I made all this for you, the stars and all that. For Jesus, therefore for you in Jesus. Outside of Jesus, well, so I want you to sort of take this in. This is Daniel 7. As the dean rightly points out, he's in the zone today. This is Daniel 7. Okay? This is the Son approaching the ancient days, and all of the stuff is given to him. And all of the stuff is for him. This is Romans. Paul says it. For him and to him and through him are all things. To him be the glory forever. Amen. He's going to the other side of the desk to get his toy. I wish you could see this. He just showed up on the other side of my desk and he's like, I can get this toy. He is in rare form today. So I want you to sort of take this hymn in one more time. Let's read it one more time together. It doesn't need any commentary because it's just so wonderful. Just he, the one who redeemed us in the forgiveness of sins, he is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn of all creation. For by him all things were created in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible, thrones, dominions, rulers, authorities. All things were created through him, and all things were created for him. He is before all things, and in him all things are held together. He is the head of the body. Kai autos esten he kephale tu somatos. And the body is tes ecclesiais, the church. Hi, buddy. Hi, buddy. Hi, buddy. Yes. 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 Unbelievable. Unbelievable. It is unbelievable. Unbelievable. It is so gospelly good. Do you know why this is so gospelly good? Can you fathom this? Jesus is true God, true man, the firstborn of all creation. That means everything that's true of him is true of you by faith in Jesus Christ. Everything in this hymn is given to you as gift. Heaven, earth, visible, invisible, thrones, dominions, rulers, authorities. All things were created through him, and because it was created through him, all things were created for you. Don't miss this. Don't miss this. Chrysostom. Whose image will you have him be? God's? Then he's exactly like the one of to whom you assign him. If you compare him to a human image, say so, and I'll be done with you as a madman. The image of the invisible, it is itself also invisible, and invisible in the same way, for otherwise it would not be an image. For an image, so far as it is an image, even on human level, ought to be exactly similar, as for example, in respect to features of the likeness. But here indeed amongst us, this is by no means possible. For human art fails in many respects, or rather fails in all, if you make a careful examination. But where God is, there is no error, no failure. We cannot capture an image of God. He is that image. Oh my goodness. He is that image. He is that image. And there's more. Because you can't talk about him being this wonderful and not mention the suffering and death of Jesus. You can't. He is the head of the body. You better be good for Monday, thinker. I am so excited. Not because I get a day off. It's because you get a good teacher on Monday. The one who is, through him all things were made, the one who before all things and holds all things together, he, that guy, is the head of the body. The church. He's the head of the church. Look, what is going on back there, buddy? Oh no. Oh no. Nope. When you think about what's going on with COVID, when you think about what's going on with the world, what are you doing? Oh, never mind. When you think about what's going on in this world and you begin to despair, when you begin to worry, when you look at your church and go, it's going to fail, or that pastor's going to fail this church, when you think about those things, Stop, collaborate, and listen, because you're not the Lord of the church. The head of the church is none other than the one who died and rose again. He's the head of the church. He's the head of the church. He's the Lord of the church. So don't despair. Don't get political. Oh, if our guy doesn't win, president of the synod or archcardinal or archbishop or whatever, that the world's going to come to an end and our church is going to collapse. No. He's the Lord of the church. He's the Lord of the church. And the one who's the Lord of the church is the one who holds all things together, who is the image of the invisible God. Can you beat that? He's the head of the church. A visible image of an invisible God. That guy, the firstborn of all creation, the ruler of heaven and earth, the one by whom and through whom all things were made, he sits at the head of the church. And he's the one that's going to save us. Can you beat that? Newman. Firstborn from the dead. He rose, you rise. Ooh. You know, I can't help it. Figure's on fire. That's why the golden calf was such a problem. There's only one icon for God. And it ain't a calf. Because they pointed at the calf, they're like, Yahweh, who brought us out of Egypt. No, you want to see Yahweh? You want to see who Yahweh is? All you need to do is hang on a cross. See him hanging on a cross. Yahweh hangs on a cross. That's what Jesus is Lord means. Jesus is Lord does not mean Jesus is your master. Jesus is Lord does not mean that Jesus is your chief, your boss. Jesus is Lord means Jesus is Adonai Yahweh, the Lord God. And when somebody says to you, the God of the Old Testament is different from the God of the New Testament, you're like, no, Jesus is the God of the Old Testament. Jesus is the God of the New Testament. And yes, Brian, all of this language is oxymoronic. A visible image of an invisible God. God being firstborn. It's absurd. In the suffering and death of Jesus. He is the arche, the beginning. Prototokos. Second time that word's been used. It's up here. It's down here. Firstborn. This time, from the dead. Last time, of all creation. Firstborn of all creation. Firstborn from the dead. Well, Adam was the firstborn of all creation. Well, no. Because Jesus is the new standard, the new icon. All of us born in the image of Adam. Now, no, we are born in the image of Jesus. What symmetry? you see it? Pointing to the screen will not help you. Prototokos there, prototokos there. Firstborn of all creation, firstborn out of the dead. Just as he rose from the dead, so I will rise from the dead too. All right, we just, it's going to get loud here for a wee bit, and you're going to have to forgive me. We have a funeral tomorrow for a little girl who died before the Rona hit, and now that the rules are being lax, we were going to have her funeral, except for her mom came down with strep, and she's being tested for corona. So while everybody is just learning that, because I got the text during the Bible study, I sent the text to the secretary, the administrative assistant. He then passed it on to a bunch of people, and now all of my church is buzzing. And so what do? They call me, knowing that there's a Bible study going on. But see, I handled it so smooth as molasses that you didn't even know something was up until the phone started ringing like crazy. So, think about this for a second. Firstborn of all creation, true God. Firstborn of all from the dead, true man. Another profound moment from Monday's Bible study teacher, the dude with the cool beard. I do not have beard envy. It gets better. I'm getting teary-eyed because this is just so good. He's the beginning. Who's the beginning? Jesus, our Savior. Who's the firstborn from the dead? And bringing us all with him. Jesus is the firstborn from the dead. He's bringing us all with him. In him, everything, and this happens so that in everything he might be prominent. Who does that? Who makes him prominent? Dad makes him prominent. What an interesting Trinity we have. The Father is magnified by the Son. The Son says, my dad's greater than I. The Father puts everything under the Son's feet so that the Son would be prominent. And the Spirit makes that known to us, never talking about himself, instead talking about the Father who sent his Son. And so we have a Father who talks about the Son who talks about the Father, and from the Father and the Son we have the Spirit proceeding, who talks about the Father's love for us in his Son. What a beautiful moment. The Father makes the Son prominent, puts everything under him so that the Son would be prominent. And if the Son is prominent, you're prominent. Because all of this isn't an exploration into Christology or theology. All of this is about saving you. This is not theology time. This is saving me time. This is about saving you. God gives everything to his Son to save you. This is where when the emphasis is on the wrong syllable of theology. Yeah, Brian, you are in this Christ who has everything. In him, you have everything. Outside of him, hell and death. But in him, firstborn of all creation. In him, firstborn from the dead. And everything in between. So if you want to know what God's like, look at Jesus. And there you will see a God who wants to save. There you'll find a God who wants to save. Look, no offense, but sovereign God talk and powerful God talk and our God is an awesome God talk does not deliver the goods. You're a big God. Doesn't save. Yes, Cheryl. Of the Father's love begotten. I love the higher things. Kids singing this hymn. It makes me cry every Christmas. Christ is love because Christ is God and God is love. Finger. I love that kid. I knew that kid before he had a beard. Well, I think he had a beard in college, but it was like a baby beard. Now he's gone full on. You could switch me out for an Eastern Orthodox priest beard. Yeah. The problem is the starting point, Rob. The starting point. The scriptures do not start with the power of God. The scriptures start with Christ. So if you ask God, hey, what's the firstborn? Well, my almighty power. No. Absolutely not. No. The firstborn of all creation is my son. And that's where it goes wrong. Predestination gone wrong begins with the power of God with an eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch the tiger by his toe. If he hollers, carols out, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. No. That's theology gone wrong because it's got the wrong starting point. The right starting point, the Jesus point, is the right starting point. Begin with Jesus. Because that's where God the Father begins. And I want to just say this again because I love my Calvinist friends. But they're no fun at parties. I'm just saying. That's a joke. Please don't get mad at me. 4-page single-space letters. There's more. Let's find some more. But before we do, just a slight little break to remind you that everything you could ever want to purchase from Higher Things is available on the Higher Things merch store today. Close out on all the old stuff with the impact font that you're so used to. Use code Live Bible Study for an additional 20% off your total purchase. So go to store.ironthings.org, get that Live Bible Study code. And you will be cooking with gas. I hope I just didn't post something I shouldn't have posted. There it is. That is word for word what the marketing exec told me to pass on. Just saying. Back to the text. Um, 19. For in him it pleased, well pleased, that all the fullness of God would dwell. The fullness of God is in the man Jesus. To have Jesus is to have God. To reject Jesus is to reject God. In him, the fullness of God, it pleased God to dwell. Anybody who tells you that somehow Jesus isn't completely and totally head over heels wanting to save you, or that God is somehow neutral in your salvation, hasn't read Colossians 1. God and man are reconciled in the man, Jesus, who is true God, fully God. It pleased God for the fullness of God to dwell in him. God doesn't sleep. He doesn't weep. And he certainly doesn't get hurt. You can fling all your stones at God and you will never kill him. But when God becomes flesh in the person of Jesus, you can do things to God that you could never do before. Drive nails into his hands and feet. Spit on him. Hoist him above the earth. Kill him. Maggie, that's one word. Live Bible study. One word. And through him, and this is again, still connected. And Rob, you're right. I don't want to really, I just wanted to warn Rob against that doctrine, not really delve into it. And I don't like tearing up other denominations. That's not what I was attempting to do. I was just pointing out and say that's the wrong starting point. Okay? I want to be very clear on that. That's the wrong starting point. And through him, verse 20, and through him to reconcile all to him. By the way, no, Rob, we're cool. I was covering my own 6. I wasn't. We're cool, Rob. We're on the same page, bud. I don't want you to miss this though. So that verb, it pleased God, does double duty. On the one hand, it pleases God to that the fullness of the deity dwells in the flesh of Jesus. But it also pleased God to reconcile all in him. Not some, not those who believe, not good people, but all. Ta panta. All things. And then to make peace through his blood, through the blood of his cross. And there's the deal. There's the deal. God's lottery isn't an eeny, meeny, miny, mo. God reconciles all things. He reconciles all things in the blood of his cross. And that's what it pleased God to do. And there's Finker quoting Isaiah 53. It pleased the Lord to strike him. Right, Rob? So, it's to the glory of God that he damns sinners. Wrong! He doesn't think that's the glory of God. You ask the Father what the glory of God is, and look at my son dying on the cross. That's what makes me well pleased. My son dies for sinners. That's what makes me happy. And no, God does not have blood until he takes on your flesh to die to save you. Read that again. For in the fullness of God was pleased to dwell, and through him to reconcile to himself all things. It pleased God to send his son, true God, true man. It pleased God to reconcile all things to himself. That's what makes God happy, saving you. Sorry, God will not be happy if you are not saved. And this should not shock you. Because are you going to be happy as a parent if your kids aren't saved? You are made peace with God, not because you changed. Because God took on your flesh to make peace by the blood of his cross. Tomorrow we're going to finish this chapter. I'm going to see how far I can get, because I would love to have Finker doing chapter 3. But first things first, same bat time tomorrow, same bat channel, same bat time, 2 p.m., same bat channel. What a great study today. What a great gift today was. What a great, glorious gospel today was. God desires to save sinners. You want to know how he is? All you got to do is look at the cross. Have a blessed day. The Lord be with you. See you tomorrow.